our humanity, in which they have identified, UNO has identified new technology to achieve these goals as a innovative efforts, something like public electric transport, alternate vehicle fuel, cheap and long-term energy storage devices, plastic recycling and bioplastics, accessible for the solar power, carbon capture and utilization, and lastly but not least, hydrogen-based energy transmission. These are the innovative ideas we should work upon, by which you can improve the sustainability goals can be achieved and our ranking will go better. In this regard, the topic being a key topic and an important topic of the society, our Institute of Engineers headquarters have formed a SDF, Sustainable Development Forum, and a board of council and the board of governors. They are concentrating on how to improve the SDGs, In fact, periodically they conduct seminars and journals is published. And in fact, they are preparing to issue a book on the sustainable development on the ecosystem, how to maintain this. So we have to support this SDF, and by means of supporting by various local centers, from state centers, and the local centers should support this SDG goal, and we should achieve it. Anyhow, in my keynote address, I want to say that we will protect the planet. We will protect our planet, our humanity, and we work for the prosperity, remove poverty, and give a good education to the younger generation. With these few words, I welcome the panelists, Dr. Danya, Dr. Sonia, and Dr. Vikram, to enlighten this younger generation. I think a lot of students are observing this webinar. You enlighten this society with this, how to improve the sustainable development in the planet. And in fact, why I'm telling younger generation is, as the younger generation are going to be the pillars of the nation, and they should take this as their guidelines and goal, so that they should sustain their livelihood. These few words, I thank the organizers and headquarters, Institute of Engineers headquarters, and especially our President Saab, even though he is not there, our message is conveyed to him that we are here to sustain the humanity and prosperity and good health of the nation. And we will we ensure, sir, our ranking will go further from 117 to higher ups in due course, and the Prime Minister's commitment of by 2030, we will be the top few nations to maintain the sustainability goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your a brief introduction about our sustainable development goals, sir. May I now request our moderator of the session, Thiruvel Muthu, sir, to please introduce the panelist. Before handing over the mic to Muthu, sir, I just have a brief introduction. Thiruvel Muthu, sir, is the mechanical engineer native from Divikottai and Mathur Mannur Kavil. He had joined ISRO Trivandrum in the year 1972 in SLV project and worked till 1978 for project planning and system design. Then he moved to ASLV project as deputy project director in the year 1979 and worked there until 1985. As the deputy project director, he has realized all the mechanical and vehicle and control systems in coordination with other divisions. May I now request moderator, sir, to please introduce the panelist, and the session is handing over to him, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sen. Subramanian, my colleague and chairman, Institute of Engineers, Madurai Local Center, Dr. H.O. Takare, President, IEI, Professor P. Udaya Kumar, Honorary Secretary, Madurai Local Center, Dr. Kingsek Sen, Director, Technical, IEI, today's speakers, and all the listeners online, all the members of IEI who are there online. First of all, I thank IEI for choosing me as the moderator of this session. I also appreciate IEA for recognizing the importance and relevance of this topic, sustainable life, and organizing this webinar for the sake of all. In fact, Subramaniam, in no small terms, he made all the points, whatever relevant to sustainable life and its importance. So I think IEA is very much interested on this topic. I'm very happy about it. Before getting into my task of introducing the speakers, a few words about one of the organizations which is working on this sustainable life goal this year, Kumari Arivial Perabai. That is the name of the organization. We call it in short as KAP, which is purely a voluntary organization without expecting any funding from any agency. This is the brainchild of Sri Mullanjeri Velayan, an ex-employee of ISRO, with the aim of developing the personality of young children of Kanyakumari district to become better citizens and face the world with confidence. KAP selects 50 children of 8th standard, designates them as young scientists, and allows them to research on a topic chosen every year, provide them forums to present, write essays on it, summarize the matter presented, and finally consolidated their findings into a book to be released by a higher body of learning. In fact, Subramaniam was mentioning about a book on sustainable life. I think this will be a very good book for that purpose. This year's topic happens to be sustainable life. KAP has chosen this year sustainable life as its topic. And I used this forum to make a request to IEA to consider, request to IEA and Subramaniam to consider and be the focal point to release the book prepared by young scientists on this topic at the end of their training and give them all encouragement. I request you to release this book because you are so much interested, and this book will be a very good keep for you in IEA as a reference. Now, coming to my task of introducing the speakers, all three of them are voluntary members of KAP and spare all their quality free time for the betterment of the young children of Kanyakumari district. The first speaker is Mr. Vivi Vikram, a postgraduate in mechanical engineering with a specialization in business administration, with 24 years experience in design and development of low and medium voltage switchgear and switchboards. And he is the Deputy General Manager of Sridhar Electronic Corporation. He is a key member of KAP and organizes and compares many of its programs. The second speaker is Dr. R.P. Danya, Associate Professor, Department of Microbiology, NI College of Arts and Science, Kumarakoil in Kanyakumari district from 2004. Her area of research is diversity and characterization of potential estuarine actinomycetes. She is a member of KAP from 2017 and actively participates in all its programs. The third speaker is Dr. A. Helen Sonia. She is heading the Department of Pharmaceuticals and is also the Vice Principal in S.A. Raja Pharmacy College, Tirunelveli. She has more than 13 years of teaching experience and has published a number of papers, guided a number of projects, and organized a number of seminars. Her area of research includes formulation, development, and evaluation of proteasomes for antiviral drugs. She is also associated with Institutional Animal Ethical Committee as scientist. She is also an important member of KAP. Now I request them to present their important findings on the topic and also request them to adhere to the timing given 25 minutes for each presentation. Only highlight critical points and other things you just go through. That's what I request to them. Now I request to Sri Vivi Vikram to come on the floor and present this presentation.
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir, for introduction. Respected Dr. N. Shivasubramaniam, Chairman, Madurai Local Center, President of IEA, Dr. H.O. Takareza, Honorary Secretary of Madurai Local Center, Professor Dr. P. Udayakumar, Honorable Muthu Sir, and my colleagues from Kumari RVL Peravai, Dr. Danya Madam, Dr. Helen Sonia, and all the participants. Thank you, and good afternoon to all. Before going into the presentation, I like to thank our organizer, Sri Mulancheriyam Velayan sir, for nominating us one of the panelists for this session. Thank you, sir. So I'd like to share my screen. So we'll see about sustainable life on behalf of Kumari RVL Peravai. First, before going into that, it is my duty to share something about Kumari RVL Peravai, because if you see our meeting invitation, there is a preamble of the webinar where it was mentioned something about Kumari RVL Peravai. So Kumari RVL Peravai is an voluntary organization mainly working in Kanyakumari district, and was formed by Sri Mulancheriyam Velayan way back in end of 90s. It was started by, like it's an evaluation. Like it was started in way 90s by providing before computers reached to villages, schools. He has organized computer training for headmasters of Kanyakumari districts, and then next year he got a conference with science teachers of Kanyakumari district to imbibe scientific timber and scientific awareness among school students. Later, this was evolved as an young scientist program, which we call now as an developing young scientist. So every year, some 50, around 250, 300 students of grade 8 school will be participating in this. In that, there will be some 9 selection process. With the 9 selection process, 55 students will be taken into year-long training. In that year-long training, they will be taken to the different platforms like starting from engineering. They will be taken to engineering colleges. Then we will be taking our students to medical colleges, IAST, ISRO, many other central government institutions, and field studies at organic farm, field study from coastal villages, that is from Kanyakumari, total villages, coastal villages from Nirodi to Vattakotai. Then we will be taking them to forests of like Kanyakumari district. So to understand the geography and importance of each phenomena, understand the importance of forest, understand the importance of coastal, understand the importance of agriculture, everything will be imbibed them as a training. And at the end of the year, these students will be presenting this learnings in any of the universities. Our earlier students presented in IIT Chennai, Agriculture University Coimbatore, Madurai Kamaraj University, Bharatdarshan University, Gandhigram University, Central University Thiruvarur, and NIST, like many places. And these are the some of the deliverables of our students, starting from my scientific contribution. Now each year we'll have a theme, and in that theme there will be a 5 subtopic, and students, 55 students will be divided into 5 groups, and each group has some scientists, consultants, and our Muthu sir, Shivasubramaniam sir, all are associated with that and each group, and we will be providing training. And the end of the year, these books will be published. So these are the some of our earlier topics, like planet Earth, water and life, rescue the planet Earth, and human innovation. And last year it was global challenges, and this year it is sustainable life. And he's a man who is the backbone of Kumari RVL Peravai, Sri Mulancheriyam Velayan, along with his colleagues who are retired teachers, environmentalists, scientists, everybody. And this is the photo of 2 years back Young Scientist program. And now, due to this ongoing pandemic, last 2 years, we are having this program in Zoom platform. This is all about Kumari RVL Peravai. And going forward, this year theme for Kumari Arivial Peravai Young Scientist Program 2011 and 2021-22 is Sustainable Life. In this, we have 5 subsystems. We have grouped into 5 subdivisions like ecological sustainability, water sustainability, livelihood sustainability, energy, and climate. So in ecological sustainability, we will be dealing more into why ecology is needed, what are the dangers which ecology is facing, and how to preserve this ecology, why need to be preserved for our current generation as well as the future generations. So those things will be dealt in this ecological sustainability. And in water sustainability, we will be understanding the different sources, how to preserve, how to manage water bodies, how to manage watersheds, why need to be preserved, how we are going to ensure security, water security for our futures, so that we will have, present day also many of the people, majority of the people don't have clean water for their daily day use. So how we are going to get that for the present generation and for the future. And in terms of livelihood sustainability, due to our livelihood changes, there are different problems which we affects our sustainability. Like for example, due to the change in construction science, due to the change in our lifestyles, many changes are there. So those points are dealt in this chapter, livelihood sustainability. And similar way, energy is one of the important parameter which we need to address, because without energy we cannot able to live a single day. So to address that, the single topic has been selected as energy sustainability. And similar way, the climate is really changing. A lot of some places we can see drought, some places we can see flood. And if you see last 3-4 years, our Tamil Nadu, or we belongs to the region Kanyakumari, faces severe floods every year because of this our human actions, all those things. So those things are dealt in this climatic sustainability. And here I'll take through to water sustainability and energy sustainability, and my colleague from Kumari Arivial, Dr. Danya Madam, will look into this livelihood sustainability, and Helen Sonia ma'am will talk about ecological and climatic sustainability. So water sustainability, why we need to talk about water sustainability, why that much important? Because some of the facts which UNICEF has published, 4 billion people, almost 2/3 of the world population, experience severe water scarcity for at least 1 month each year. So this is one of the alarming points. And over 2 billion people live in countries where water supply is inadequate. Half of the world's population would be living in areas facing water scarcity by as early as 2025. Some 700 million people could be displaced by intense water scarcity by 2030. And by 2040, roughly 1 in 4 children worldwide will be living in areas of extremely high water stress. So 4 billion people, 4 billion, right now we are in 7 billion. So more than 50% of the people will be struggling for water, in a year, a month. So this is some of the alarming facts about water in the present day also. So we couldn't able to sustain, give water to all in the present day. Then, so we need to address this issue. So how this Kumari Arivial Peravai, our students has been dealing with, first, this will be addressed in this way. First we need to understand what are the sources available, then importance of watershed, then it will be water bodies, then how this water will be distributed, what are the methods to take harvesting and conservation. And if you do all these things, so we will be knowing what will be our availability and how we will increase our availability, then how we will effectively effectively distribute our available resources. Then with that, how we will able to conserve our reserves, then we can able to maintain water security for all. So this is the main theme, and with this we'll go one by one. So roughly the slide, image in the left hand side, everybody knows that the total in that total water percentage, only 2.5 is fresh water, which we can directly consume, and other things are saline, and which we need to have some technology to convert that to usable water even for agriculture. So in that 2.5% of fresh water, majority of the cap will be in glaciers and ice caps, and 30% will be in the groundwater, and roughly 1.2 percentage will be a surface water, or which we see everywhere, rivers, lakes, ponds. That is the that is the if you see the water scenario. But I'll take this water more into our Kanyakumari district, because we have some efficient methods in our ancient days also, but there are some, yes, disturbance to that. But if we follow that ancient system, then we can manage the water for all the needs. So in terms of if you take Kanyakumari, Kanyakumari is a blessed district in our nation, because we have both this monsoon. We'll get the rain from both the monsoon, southwest as well as northeast monsoon. So like in 12 months of a year, we will get 6 months of rain. So we are almost blessed. No, if we save the 6 months, then the remaining 6 months we can live happily. And if you see some of the actual rainfalls in 2013 to 2018, we have a good rainfall, and this data was taken from our website. And first we will talk about watershed. So watershed carries water after rainfall or melting of snow from the land, which get accumulated into soil as a groundwater in creeks and streams, which later forms large rivers. So watershed is the main thing. Like if you're getting rain, this water will be captured in this watershed. If you are destroying this watershed, then after the rain goes, then you don't have any water. So watershed is mainly important one. So if you go into Kanyakumari, this is a place, Muthukuli Vayal is a place which have this watershed, and from that continuously, if you go visit Kanyakumari, you can see continuously water will be flowing in our rivers throughout the year without any problem. So that the reason is we maintain this good watershed in this Muthukuli Vayal. And this watersheds, now this watersheds, after rain over, this watersheds will be taken to water bodies. And if you see our system of networks of water will be like very good. Like from the watersheds, the water will come as streams, and from the streams it will go into the dams or rivers, and from the rivers from the dams it will go to rivers, and from the rivers it will take to channels, ponds, and there will be multiple check dams, rivers, again channels, and it will finally reach near to the estuary and finally into the sea or ocean. So look, this is the area, and this is the total Kanyakumari district. So from this, the water will be taken to all the district, even to Tirunelveli, some parts of Tirunelveli, and that is the system of network which are framed naturally as well, and some cases by our ancient rulers. And this is the good networks of system wherein the water will be reaching all the surface of this district, so that the groundwater get recharged every 6 months, and the remaining 6 months we'll get plenty of water to sustain. And if you see some of the major dams in our districts are like Pechupare Dam, Perijani Dam, Chittar 1, Chittar 2, much many, and major rivers are Palayaru, Valliyaru, Tamarabarani. So these are the three, we say like major source, like how it is Ganga for India, though Tamarabarani is for Kanyakumari. So that is the way, that is the network of water. So from the watershed, this water is taken into different water bodies. This is the network. And the important thing is the distribution. So from that point, there will be multiple channels, natural as well as made, rulers made channels were there, so that it drains water in all the districts. Like this region, the water from this Muthukuli Vayal was taken to this region, and this is Patanangal by where. So this much area was being water was stored there. And similar way, this is in Tirunelveli district, it is taken to Radhapuram area, and similar way it is taken to this southern tip like Kanyakumari region. So water was taken from this through different channels, and there are multiple drinking water schemes to take that water to home. This is our the network of water distribution in our district. And if you see, this is one of the breakthrough, we can say, even during 90s, 1960s, the then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Kamarajar, has able to do this. This is taking water. This is not for any travels. It is taking water from one mountain to another place, because in between there are two mountains. In between there is a slope to connect that. During that time, this was constructed. So this is taking water from one mountain to another mountain. So there is a way distribution has been happened during that time. And then now we understand what is our source, now how we are taking that to recharge all our ground, and how we are taking to all the locations through our networks of rivers, channels, everything. Now we need to see more into harvesting also, harvesting and conservation. So basically, conservation is the practice of using water efficiently to reduce unnecessary water usage. So here we need to have two things. One was we need to change our habits, even like from our daily usage to all the we need to change our habits in using water. Only then we can reduce reduce the water usage. And second thing is we need to find some new technologies of methods, not in everywhere. Like for agriculture, we need to find different methods, and if we dig deeper, we can find better methodology which would have been used in our previous, like ancient years. But we are, due to the change in our lifestyle, due to the change in many of the things, we have missed many of the good practices which we used to follow in our ancient times. So we need to bring back those. We need to dig that, we need to study that, and find whatever the better we need to implement again, so that we can conserve more water. And coming to harvesting, if you see olden days Kanyakumari houses, or even in the Kerala houses, we will see this type of area inside our home, where rainwater will come into our home, and we can save that water. This we call as Anganam in Tamil. So this is one of the method, and then everybody knows this rainwater harvesting from the roof. And next one is if we have some big acres of land, say 2-3 acres of land, it will be always better to dig a pond in the middle of the our field, so that all the water from this region will come and directly to this area, so that our groundwater will get recharged. So otherwise it will go as a surface water, and it will go to some places, like it will go to surface water and it will finally reach the sea. It will not be recharging our groundwater. But better if we make some arrangement in our fields, wherein if it is having more than some acres, say 1 acre or 2 acre, in the middle of the field, we can dig some well, and we can recharge the groundwater. And if you see, there is on news, this is about the harvesting. Bangalore man saves 1 lakh liters of water every year, and this is happened in city. So even it is possible in city, so everywhere we can follow this, and we can harvest and conserve water for our future. So if you do this activity, and if you have this network system, and wherein we can able to recharge the groundwater, instead of giving all the water to the surface, then we can ensure security for all, water security for all. This is what our fundamental is. And with this idea, our students from this year of young scientist to the young scientist students has done a lot of training, a lot of research in this area, and they are getting prepared with their documents. So if you do this way, we can have clean water for all. This is about water sustainability. And coming to, I'll take another say 5-6 minutes to take this energy sustainability, and I'll close this. And next, going to energy sustainability, if you see, there is a better change happened since 2010. More than 1 billion people gained access to electricity, but yet there is 759 million people still live without electricity. This was the scenario. And going forward, this may increase if we are not acting fast, because the population growth also directly increasing. So in that case, we need to find much more way to address this people, because 759 million people are still living without electricity. That is one of the alarming thing. And at the same time, another alarming point was 2.6 billion people remain without access to clean cooking in 2019. Millions of deaths each year from breathing, cooking, smoking. So this is another one alarming thing. And if you see, this is in terms of energy availability, and second, in terms of how much we are affecting the environment because of this energy, current day energy resources. Like majority of our energy needs happens through coal and natural gases, in mainly fossil fuels. So in this, if you see our amount of carbon dioxide emission by energy source, this is, I don't know, it is increasing. Even though if you see, this is from 1990s to 2019, this was there, but it is keep on increasing. But there was some dip in between, but again it is increasing. Basically, we need to try to reduce this point so that we will be preserving our mother nature for our future, not only future, for our current day. So in terms of energy sustainability, here also our team will be studying detail into our availability of the sources, majorly from where this energy resources are, like from fossil fuels, and how we are going to convert to renewable energy and any other alternate methods, and whether we can able to improve, like understand the technologies which we can how we efficiently we can like preserve, like store this energy. So those things have been studied by this team. And here, if you see in terms of total energy supply by the world from 1990 to 2019, this was a graph. In that, majority of our energy needs depends upon oil, coal, and natural gas, and whatever which we talk about, this renewable, everything are lying very low. This is also need to be, this has to be go up, and this has to come down. Once we are doing this, we will be making our environmental more clean. So this is about worldwide. And coming to India, India also, our majority of our energy sources, like this is the energy supply by source. Majority of our energy needs are happened by coal, and then followed by oil, then biofuel, and then whatever the things like hydro, wind, solar, we are in the bottom. And if you take in terms of, this is our source, in terms of our energy consumption by sector, industry takes majority of our energy production, and followed by residential, then agriculture and forestry, and then other applications. So we saw that we saw the graph there. Majority of our energy needs are taken from fossil fuels. Now, how to go forward? Only when we are following this renewable energy, we will be doing justice to our environment. Otherwise, we will be polluting our environment, like as I show in my earlier slide. So in renewable energy, there are a lot of technologies emerging, and there are some proven technologies like solar cells, wind farms, tidal, geothermal, hydro, biomass, and this hydrogen fuel cells. Majority of the people are working on this. So this is of the area we need to focus, but at the same time, there are some drawbacks, which is one is high implementation cost, which is making it less implementable. And there are some technological challenges also, like for example, hydrogen fuel cells, how to store this liquid hydrogen. So this is one of the challenges. So making the technologies available, like if challenges in the technology, in the sense, whatever the materials which are needed need higher cost, so which we need to get reduced. So we need to evolve a lot of technology. So this next generation has to come up with a lot of technologies wherein next generation has to invest a lot of time. Say schools, colleges need to invest a lot of time in identifying a lot of technologies related to solar, wind, tidal, all those thing area. If we are investing some time, and if you're coming out with a better technology with a cheap, low cost, and it is good to the environment, then we can turn the graph which I was shown earlier. So with this, I'm concluding my talk about this water sustainability and energy sustainability. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vikram, for the very nice speech you have given about energy sustainability and water sustainability. Now I request Dr. Danya to come up and give her presentation.
Good afternoon to all. Respected, am I audible?
Yeah, we're audible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Respected Dr. Subramanian, sir, respected President of the Institution of Engineers, Dr. Thackeray, then Moderator, Engineer Muthu, sir, then Honorary Secretary from Madurai Center, Dr. Uday Kumar, sir, my fellow panelists, the members from Institution of Engineers, members from Kumari Aravial Peravai, and all other audience of this group. Once again, good afternoon to you all. Myself, Dr. R.P. Danya, working as assistant professor in Department of Microbiology, Nurul Islam College of Arts and Science. And I'm also serving as a coordinator, as been introduced before by Muthu sir, as a member of Kumari Aravial Peravai, taking care of or coordinating students to observe around, to understand the problems, what is happening around, and to create scientific interest about them. And with, I think with that, I have been introduced to Institution of Engineers. So first of all, I thank this organization. I have just gone through, that is Institution of Engineers is such a one of the largest multidisciplinary organization where they have taken the responsibility of advancing this engineering to all the engineering community. And thank you for considering me as a panelist. Now, let me start my presentation. So first of all, let me share. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. As introduced by Dr. Shivasubramaniam sir, UN has advocated some 17 sustainable development goals, starting from ending poverty to reducing the consumption of Earth's resources. So, and that's why every nations, every countries have started to focus on developing those or maintaining those sustainable development goals. As a part of which, Institution of Engineers have also created a forum called Sustainable Development Forum, and as a part of which this webinar has been introduced. And my topic today is livelihood sustainability. Maybe I'll make it full screen. So I'll open up my presentation with a quote from United States Environmental Protection Agency. That is, to perceive sustainability is to create and maintain the conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony to support present and future generations. So if any development is to be sustainable, there should be harmony between human as well as the nature, because this harmony is very essential for supporting the present as well as the future generations. Yes. So livelihood. So life, you know that life is a constant struggle in every developing world to meet the basic necessities. So livelihood is defined as defined as a means of securing the basic necessities of living, such as food, shelter, clothing, etc. In the left-hand side, I have given you the pictorial representation, wherein it shows clearly that health, poverty, and livelihoods, they're all interrelated. When you look into the health side, health system, sanitation, then see non-infectious diseases, infectious diseases, political stability, economic status, these are all the factors that decide the health of individual living in a particular area. And poverty is directly connected to this political stability, human development, see environmental conditions, health systems, economic status, and also when you look into livelihood, see there are different sources of livelihoods like subsistence farming, and only education and skilled work can provide better livelihoods, predisposed livelihoods, spontaneous and situational livelihood, gender associated livelihoods, inherited livelihoods, and so on. So livelihood, when you look into livelihood, livelihood is a multi-dimensional concept, and it is contextualized to almost all the aspects of growth and development, be it a political development, be it a social development, economic development, demographic development, ideological, and even technological development. See, when you look into livelihood, people raise their income of living by different means. Okay, one is the production-based livelihood. Second thing is the labor-based livelihood. Third one, market-based livelihood, and fourth one is the transfer-based livelihood. So, what actually is production-based livelihood? See, we know that several people, if they have a small piece of land, they would cultivate their lands, they produce some products, and with that they make use of that products as their source of livelihood. Then second one, labor based livelihood means if they don't have any supportive assets for living, they sell their labor, they save as labor, and they acquire income out of it, and that can be used as their means of livelihood. And market based livelihood, as you know, they raise so many products, and if the surplus of the products or the balanced products will be marketed, and out of that people raise income, and they meet their livelihood. And transfer based, if the head of the family is not in a position to earn, maybe he is been affected by some illness, or he never have any assets or anything, he or she, the households may depend upon the government or any other social organizations to run their livelihood. So that is what called as the transfer based livelihood. Now, livelihood issues, if the people are not able to meet their income or a proper income or basic necessities, what are the possible issues to come? One is poverty. So as sir explained about, poverty, nearly some more than 45 million people in India are fed with or in poverty or under poverty line. And when people are under poverty line, definitely that may lead to malnutrition. And if there is no there is if the sanitation and personal hygiene is not proper, then that may lead to infectious and non-infectious diseases and infant mortality. Nearly 1.4 million children die per year in India, before their age of 5. So the infant mortality that is due to poverty is very high in India, and low life expectancy and illiteracy. Illiteracy is also one of the livelihood issue. To meet their people's livelihood, they stay away from education and maybe doing some small labor kind of work, and by staying themselves as illiterate. And unemployment is another issue, homelessness is another issue, and even that may livelihood issues may lead to crime and violence. So what are the causes for such livelihood issues? So first one, loss of income. As you all know, if there is no means to raise any income, but the livelihood is going to be a threat for them. Then family size is another cause. If there is a large family And if the income raised by the household is too less, it is very difficult for the people to share equally, and so that's why family size is also another. Next, climatic change. As you all know that climatic change is one of the unpredictable or the vulnerable cause for this livelihood issues. See, for example, I can say that, in Western Himalayan region, due to the excessive climatic change, the glaciers are fastly getting melted, and rivers like Brahmaputra and Narmada are all often turning to flooding state, and the people living very close to the rivers are being subjected to these floods and loss of lives, and so many kind of such issues are being caused. So this climatic change, as even mentioned by Vikram sir also, that this heat waves, then drought, and so many other climatic change situations vulnerably cause this loss of lives, and that even is a great threat for livelihoods. Then lack of assets and capabilities. If there is no sufficient resource for running a family, and if they are not even capable of making use of the resources what they have in a proper manner, that also will lead to see issues like that is also a threat for livelihood. Then conflicts and trade disputes will also ultimately end up with the livelihood issues. Then deterioration of health. So maybe not have, that is the food insecurity. Then illiteracy is another thing. Then land degradation is another problem. Then geographic location is also another thing. Now people living in that is some disaster prone zones are often met with this loss of lives, and that may directly influence their livelihood. And discrimination on the basis of social status, as you know that maybe all the caste, all the people belonging to every caste are not allowed to work in every common firms, isn't it? So even that can also it's also this social status is also serving as a threat to this livelihood issue. And environmental problems like pollution is creating so many issues, like there is no proper waste disposal systems, and waste recycling systems, and these kind of things, and other pollution problems also causing serious health problems, which also may lead to some kind of this livelihood threats. Then addiction to alcoholism. Alcoholism is more than 287 million people in India are addicted to alcohol. So this alcoholism is one way or other, it is spoiling the livelihood of several families. Then unpredictable events, accidents, then life loss. These are all vulnerable cases. So we cannot predict what happens to any family at any time, and these are all some of the threats that can lead to several livelihood issues. Then why should livelihood be sustainable? So what is the need for this livelihoods to be sustainable? So the need is that it is to reduce the poverty as well as the inequality by generating more employment opportunities among poor households, and by moving high vulnerable households towards economic stability. Then what is sustainable livelihood approach? So why people think of this sustainable livelihood approach is that, first thing, there should be a method for analyze what is the real cause for this livelihood issue, and bringing some approach or steps to change the lives of the people who are all experiencing this poverty and the disadvantages out of it. And also approaches should be based on the recognition that every people are having some ability and assets that should be developed to help them to improve their living standards. Then these are the 5 primary assets which greatly influences sustainability, sustainable livelihood. But the first thing is the human capital. If a person is skilled enough, or he is sufficiently knowledgeable, or if he have a good labor ability or having a good health, he can perceive a very good livelihood. Then when you the second asset is the social capital. Social capital is that if people together, if by himself, if he is not capable of pursuing a very good livelihood, he can associate himself with some organizations, some partnerships, or some social groups, and get into some work together, so that he can raise some kind of livelihoods. The natural capital means the natural resources like water, then other assets and resources, no, biodiversity, and some kind of natural resources which can be used for pursuing a very high standard of living. Next asset is the physical capital. Physical capital means maybe the equipments what we have, that what a person possesses, then adequate sanitation, if he have good household, and all the items what he possesses for leading a good livelihood, then that can also be considered to be one of the good asset for living. And financial capital means the bank, the savings, then banks, loans, and other things. These are also can be considered as the asset for leading or pursuing a good livelihood. Then next, this is the core topic to be discussed. See, towards sustainable livelihood. Here, these are the points to be considered to focus upon maintaining that is sustainable livelihood. The information related to this have been collected from the State of India's Livelihood Report 2019. According to that, the agriculture and doubling of farm income, when we focus upon agriculture and doubling of farm income, that can lead a nation to sustainable livelihood. See, due to the continued poor performance of monsoons for the third year in succession has created in some state, the agricultural growth was low at an average of due to continuous poor performance of the monsoons for 3 years in succession. In some states, the agriculture production have been reduced. So some disturbance.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So due to the continuous poor performance of the monsoons for the past 3 years in succession, the agriculture production in India has fallen to a much higher rate. And even the agriculture growth rate was low at an average of 2.9% from the year 2014 to 2019. Analysis have also shown that there is a serious dip even in the wage growth also. Then the low price of the farm outputs and low growth in wage also has produced some distressing condition in rural areas also. As a support of this, Government of India has implemented some several supportive schemes for the farmers, and one such is that a scheme which has been recently, that is in the year in the year 2019 December, Government of India has provided the farmers with rupees 6,000 per annum payment in 3 installments to farmers' families as a minimum grant for sustaining their livelihood. And also around 73.8 million people have enrolled in this scheme, and this is an initiative from the side of the Indian government to support the farmers. And also focus is given in such a way that farmers should always look into agriculture and agriculture products not only as a source of food security, but they should also always think about the fact that the agricultural products are actually the raw material for the industrial production. So if this focus is given, definitely Government of India India feels that every farmer will definitely pay more interest in contributing more in the field of agriculture. Then creating more next point is creating more employment opportunities for a sustainable livelihood. You know that the Center of Monitoring Indian Economy, CMIE, have reported that in the year 2019, July, a sharp increase in employment was recorded as about 409 million from 405 million. And this increase in employment was located in the rural areas, but in fact, in the urban region, there they have seen a decline of 2.5 million jobs in the same month of July 2019. That is a rate from 128.7 million to 126.1 million. That decline has been recorded. Rural India has seen some small rise in this employment, and South Indian states have reported unemployment rates that were very well below the all India average, and this problem of unemployment should be solved, and Ministry of Human Resource Development is paying more attention to this to develop the youth of India to to train them with that is the next area, that is education and skill development programs to empower the youth. India Skill Reports 2019. Under that India Skill Report 2019, it finds that when compared to 2018, the skills and job environment is turning positive. In the year 2016, around 3.30 million persons enrolled under different centrally funded managed skill development programs, and of that, nearly 3.10 million completed the training, but only 2.5 million actually passed the certification. The number placed were just 1.37 million. So when you analyze that, the gap between the people trained and the people passed the certification and got into placement is very, very large. Roughly 1 out of 5% enrolled does not pass. So that is the rate that is going on. The government around 300 million skilled people per year. The key issue is that the competence and quality of the skilled trainers and the standards of program for the trainers. The training institution should always enhance their ability to find substantial employment for the candidate rather than paying more attention to the placement. Then the next area is labor productivity. The periodic labor force survey carried out in the year 2017-18 was released in the year 2019 May. The key finding was that there was a continuous decline in labor force participation rate. So in the year 2004, it was nearly 63.7%. Now it has drastically declined to 49.8%. To sustain livelihood, we have to focus on strategies to analyze and design methods to increase the participation of this labor force. Next, climatic change. So climatic change, as I've told you before, the influence of climatic change on livelihood is one of the current topic of discussion. The rainfall and the heat waves are rising, and as a means of reducing its impact, Government of India has that is zero budget natural farming has been supported in the Union Budget 2019-20. So zero budget natural farming has been supported in the Union Budget in the year 2019-20, and it is currently under test for its suitability for all agroclimatic zones and all types of crops. Equitable sharing of natural resources and adopting government policies on use of irrigation water, use of renewable energy for agriculture, etc. is being focused for sustaining this livelihood. And it is also important to look for better livelihood options and applications that can secure our well-being with the available natural resources. Next, prices, market values, and technology. Prices play an important role in raising income for the farmers. In between 2017-18 and 2018-19, the price rise for agriculture products has declined significantly. The electronic national agriculture market is expected to bring more buyers for the farmers' products. Then insurance and enabling extended personal loans. This is also one of the greatest initiative to focus on sustainable livelihood. So several insurance schemes are being introduced by the government of India. The Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana expected to improve the insurance coverage and risk management impact. Without loans, farmers can even take insurance. Common service centers under the Ministry of Information Technology have been authorized to serve these farmers, and gross premiums for kharif and rabi crops are collected. Then Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India is also examining the risk in agriculture and help the insurance companies to come up with more suitable products. Then Bangor's Institute of Rural Development, Lucknow, National Institute of Rural Development, and Panchayati Raj, Hyderabad. These are all the examples for the institutions which are taking care of this area, that is insurance and enabling extended personal loans for the needed people. The next one, social development and welfare. India has moved up in Human Development Index, that is nearly one position in ranking from 131 to 130. Economic Survey of India has recognized that the development is not satisfactory to push the country ahead of its pace. Interstate disparities and underperformance in some states are the real reason for causing this slowdown. So based on the sustainable development goals, it was reported by Niti Aayog, that is South Indian states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and the state of Himachal Pradesh have already achieved this front runner status compared to other North Indian states. Then issues of poverty, education, health should be focused upon, and government of India has introduced so many other schemes like PM Kisan scheme, pension schemes, Ayushman Bharat Yojana, nutrition mission scheme, and all been introduced to improve the quality of living of the people and with the aim of achieving this sustainable livelihood. Next one is the generating self-employment among poor. So by enabling self-employment has been a way of creating large space in job market. What is self-employment? Self-employment is what? Running their own self-enterprises. So in rural sector, nearly there is 63% male workers engaged in agriculture. Individual small entrepreneurs operating at micro level need the support from the local level intermediaries like business correspondents, NGOs, and the rural banks for affordable capabilities. Then another one important thing what I want to highlight is there is an NGO in India that is called as Hand in Hand India, which is exclusively committed in creating jobs and employment opportunities in India. Yes, it was initially started at Kanchipuram in 2002, but now it has extensively grown and spread to almost 16 states in India, and they have created over 3.8 million jobs among the rural poor with a dedicated team of nearly 1,173 employees and 54,642 volunteers integrated from the areas of health sector, education sector, skill development sector, and so on. And they have undertaken the village upliftment program also. Even they have developed a networking with IIT Madras and constantly engaged in creating more skilled labor, especially they are focusing on women. Then policies and programs for livelihood of the poor. Livelihood always it is central to policies, programs, and practices, especially towards the poor. Then India's poverty line estimates is that INR 32 per person per day in rural area, as per the Rangarajan committee. The income supports under the scheme is nearly INR 17 a day for a household, which looks very small. Policies and programs should be focused on creating more jobs, food subsidies, crop insurances, labor productivity, fertilizer subsidies, economic policies, advantages to the poor, better tax compliances, reform policies, education and health. Policies should be consistent and predictability is also very necessary. Then multi-stakeholder partnerships, NGO government partnership is also required for maintaining a sustainable livelihood. So NGOs and government partnership, that is Government of India had two flagship programs. One is the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act and National Rural Livelihood Mission. And that is one of the noticeable multi-stakeholder NGO partnership in West Bengal. That is Ushar Mukti, a program is launched by the government of West Bengal, focusing on the western highland districts of West Bengal. And this program has supported a lot of tribal people and for sustaining their livelihood. So these are some of the initiatives or the areas to be focused upon this sustainable livelihoods.
You have to be fast, Danya.
Okay, sir.
Time is up.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Hello.
Yes. So next, I can skip this. Okay. Then finally, towards creating a sustainable society, these are the following points to be taken care of. These are the principles to be followed. We have to respect and care for the communities of life. Then it is very important that we have to take care of improving the quality of every human life. It is very important, whatever may be the development program we focus upon, please look into that. The conservation of Earth's vitality and diversity is very important. We have to minimize the depletion of non-renewable resources, and we have to limitize or optimize the natural resources. We should change the personal attitudes and practices, and should provide a national framework for integrating development. And it is very important that we have to create a global alliance. No country is self-sufficient. It is very important to create a sustainable society. A global alliance is needed. And finally, my conclusion is that for the success of sustainable development, it always depends upon designing sustainable technology, sustainable enterprises, sustainable ecosystems, sustainable institutions of growth. And it is very important to take care of that. Poor people have many basic necessities like water, energy, shelter, clothes, healthcare, education, and employment. Governments, private sectors, universities are all required to pay more interest in the innovation of endeavors to improve the people in a sustainable manner. And above all, it is very important to be environment friendly, that is by minimizing waste, using renewable, using efficient technology, evidence of improvement over other methods, and ease of repair and maintenance. And by following all these, we would be able to change the lives of so many people. Let us all promise ourselves to help the poor and needy, and focus on leading the earth to a sustainable place of living. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Thank you, Danya, for the nice talk. You have given elaborate talk. I request Helen Sonia to come up and give her presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Helen, turn your video and come forward.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, just now I got my connection to my computer. Simply, I am giving the intro. Before that, my daughter will make its arrangement, because through that computer only I have to connect there. Then only I can share my PowerPoint. Okay, today we are having the right time. Thank you for this giving greater opportunity. I mainly give my thanks my Kumari Arivial Perabai Because of their nomination only, I got this opportunity. So I congratulating this IEI member for especially Dr. N. Sivasubramaniam, Dr. Haisko Takir, Professor Dr. P. Udayakumar, Mr. Muthu, and also all the panelists, those who are talking with me. So, and I once again, I want to congratulate this IEI for giving the opportunity, and also because they are doing faithful service to this nation. So today we are discussing this presentation with few sustainable life, mainly with the few topics: water sustainability, ecological sustainability, climate sustainability, livelihood sustainability, and energy sustainability. So here I am presenting something about this ecological sustainability and also the climate sustainability. The remaining things, water sustainability, livelihood, and the energy sustainability were already present by our other panelists. We got the good session with them. So before thinking about this ecological sustainability, so really first I am saying my sorry. Within the short time I will connect with you. So simply I am talking now. So the ecological sustainability, before understanding that, we should understand about the environment. What is this environment? The things which are surrounding us is called as environment. Okay. So okay, things which are surrounding us as the environment. So now normally we are living in the world. Whatever the things which are surrounding us, that may be considered as the atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere. So what is this atmosphere? The atmosphere is the component which will be surround the gaseous component around this world. So that is supporting us for the day-to-day life, because that is providing the oxygen, carbon dioxide, and whatever the gases which are required for our day-to-day life for both in animals and human beings. Lithosphere, that is the earth crust. So from that surface to over 100 kilometers, that area will be considered as the lithosphere. That is very supportable, and the pollutions, whatever we are making, will affect on this surface area only. And also hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is the water bodies which are surrounding us. So just I have told about this atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere. Then what is that biosphere? So in all these things, atmosphere and also lithosphere and also hydrosphere, where all these areas, there are living things that are called as biosphere. So the biosphere, if we want to give the sustainable life, there should be the proper atmosphere, proper lithosphere, proper hydrosphere. That could be possible only by the human being, because in this world, the so much number of organism species are living, but only the one thing, one person, the one species which is able to make the impact on that environment is only human being. Because of them only everything is happening. So the simply we can take the example of food chain. The food chain is a very important thing, because just to say the grasshopper, if it is increasing in the world, what will happen? All the crop production will be destroyed. So to avoid that, we have to preserve the food chain. So whatever the frogs or some birds which are eating that grasshopper should be in the world. Then only we can preserve this food chain. So the food chain, whenever we are preserving, definitely that ecological sustainability can be sustained. Okay, so the ecological sustainability, that should be that always depending upon this environment that I have told. So that already I have told the human being is making the so many problems to this environment that maybe leads to the several defects. That one of that defects is climate. The climate change. In the condition of climate change, automatically what will happen? The polar ice caps will be melted, and whatever the ices which are there in the polar region will be melted. So that means automatically sea level will be increased. So sea level increases means the areas, the coastal areas will be immersed into the water. So these are main reason for these greenhouse gases emission. The main reason behind this climate problem is greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases emission is mostly caused by the fossil fuel burning, transportation, plastic usage, biomass burning, and usage of paper. Definitely we have to think about this. For the usage of papers, we are using number of trees. Deforestation is one of the factors to the utilization of the papers. So while we using all these components, the greenhouse gases like methane, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, everything is increases. So transportation, simply nowadays we people for walk, we are hesitating to walk. So wherever we want to go, just simply using our cars. So in our houses, normally before there will be the no cars. Nowadays we are having several cars in the same family. So individual people will use the different cars. This will be the main reason for the. Hello, excuse me. Can I connect by that computer? Okay, so that is the main reason. According to the report, mostly 24% of the greenhouse gases are by greenhouse gases are emitted by the usage of vehicles. And also we can talk about the fossil fuels. So without hesitation, we are using the fossil fuels. Okay, can you get my screen?
Ma'am, it is sharing, ma'am. Just waiting. It should be sharing.
Really, I am sorry. Apologies for this inconvenience. No, you mean
Shared.
okay, shared.
Press full screen, ma'am. F5.
Okay. Once again, I am welcome all of you for my presentation.
Madam, you have joined in our Madurai Chairman sir link.
Okay, that's the reason.
Your name is displayed as Chairman Madurai Local Center.
Okay, just I will rename it.
Okay, you proceed with the presentation.
Yes, ma'am. You may continue.
Okay, I will rename.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So really, I thankful for this year's Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, the IAE. I am continuing the sustainable life. So first, we should understand about the sustainability. So sustainability, already I have talked so many things. Simply, I am talking collectively. So just we have to maintain the things, whatever is available in the world. So without damaging, we have to protect the environment. Just I am shown the green image. So from that image only we can understand if you are preserving this green environment, or we can go beyond the limit. That is the arrow mark showing. This arrow mark showing the limit, sustainable life. Okay. Next one is the sustainable living. How we can live the sustainable living? That is the atoms. Just we can consider that is the atoms or our lifestyle, whatever which is used to reduce the usage of natural resources. That is the sustainable living. Just we have to perform the, or just we have to take the steps to reduce the usage of natural resources. Okay, so that's then we can call this as a earth harmony living or net zero living. So this is the topics we are discussing nowadays. So environment plus ment, I have already told whatever the components which are whatever the components which are around in the world, that is called as environment. That also already I have talked. So, but after getting this seminar, definitely we will get some awareness. Otherwise, if you want to work towards this, the environment sustainability, just we have to get the awareness. To of getting this kind of the awareness only our organization, I conducting this kind of the seminars. So through this seminar, we will develop our knowledge. At that time, we will improve our attitude of preserving environment. We will develop the skill, and definitely we will involve in the preservation of this environment. This environment component can be divided into two. One is biotic environment, another is abiotic environment. Biotic, that means that living components that are supporting to us for the life, that are the biotic environment. Abiotic means non-living components which are supporting us for our life. That is the non-biotic environment. Okay. Okay. So this is the, I have already told, no, atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere. Atmosphere, this is the air around us. Lithosphere is the land in which we are living. Hydrosphere is the water bodies. Here we can see this. The cow is grazing here, that the fish also swimming in the hydrosphere. So these all will components, and also some birds can fly on the atmosphere.
Madam, sorry to interrupt. Actually, your screen is not full screen.
But it is full screen only, sir.
I think then it was shared wrongly. Like, you can stop sharing and share again once.
Again, I have to share.
So you go to the second screen.
Now it's okay?
Now also it is in the first screen. Your name only is there.
Move to the second.
No, actually, share screen is not coming here.
Okay, but I am sharing.
Only presentation is coming. Presentation view is not.
Okay, okay. Shall I send that?
No, you can share.
Okay, orally you can present, Sonia. You are doing very nicely.
Okay, okay. So without showing.
Oral presentation.
Okay, okay.
Off on the video.
Okay, but I am sharing the screen. Okay.
I think you are sharing somebody's slot. You are sharing in somebody's slot. That's why it is not coming here. You present it, and Vikram, can you help her? You get that PowerPoint and put from your side. You can proceed, madam. Sonia, you proceed the highlights and what is to be done and what the future younger generation should need. That you highlight. By the time Vikram will help you.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. We are talking about biotic and abiotic.
Atmosphere. The atmosphere already I have told it is the gaseous cover around the earth. That is the atmosphere. So here there are so many layers are there. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. So in the first layer is troposphere. The troposphere up to the 11 kilometers. That are the troposphere. So normally this is the layer which will be more polluted by our people. But the people, human being mostly making the much pollution on this troposphere only. And stratosphere consists of the ozone layer. So that ozone layer maybe make the producing that hole, we are saying the hole that is getting damaged due to the pollution that is in the second layer, stratosphere. Okay. So next, the hydrosphere consists of maybe oceans, seas, glaciers, snow caps, fresh water. Everything will be consists of this hydrosphere. So that may be considered these lakes, reservoir, rivers, stream, glacier, groundwater. That everything can be included in this hydrosphere. And lithosphere is the our layer that is we are living. That is the earth crust, we can call this. From 0 to 100 kilometer thickness of the earth, we will call that as a lithosphere. So then biosphere is the component, that means the bats, animals, and the fishes and whatever. Small screen. Small screen.
Now it is coming.
Now it's okay. Okay.
You go to full screen if possible.
Okay. Full screen. While I am taking the full screen, only it is making the problem. That's why I can use the same.
Then you don't do it. Go ahead.
Okay. Biosphere is the narrow zone where we have find the land, water, and air. Here the birds, animals, and plants, vegetation, everything, microorganisms are living. So here we are discussing about ecological sustainability. So what is this ecology? Just we are here the interrelated each other. All these spheres, the biosphere along with the lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, it is interrelated. So this relationship is we can call as the ecosphere. So this study related to ecosphere and ecological relationship is called the ecology. That is the relationship between the organism and their environment. So already I have told there are living organism and non-living components. Both will be there. Both will be giving their relationship with the human being and all other living components. So the relationship is should be sustainable. How we can make it to sustainable? How we can make it to sustainable? Also, we have to know who is the responsible person who is spoiling this environment or ecological sustainability. Only we, human being. What is the reason? Why we plus spoiling this environment or ecological sustainability? Because of our selfishness. Really, we have to understand our selfishness is the major issue. We are expecting the plunder of profits. So just we have to, at this juncture, just we have to think about our selfishness and the expectation of plunder of profits. So because of this only, we are making much number of the pollution into the atmosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere. So just we are making to accumulation of the harmful substances into all these regions. So in the first one, transportation, because of the transportation only 26% of the greenhouse gases is emitting according to the report on the 2014. So this will be during this transportation, just we are disrupting the plants. So due to this reason, not only the pollution, we are destroying the plants and all the vegetations. So during this condition, the habitat loss also will be the sequence of this transportation. Next one is the water pollution. So the global scale, on the global scale, 2 million tons of sewage, agriculture and industrial waste are entered into the world water every day. So it is making the harmful effect and it is making the contamination to the drinking water. So it will just not only our human being, also it will destroy the marine life and destroy the reproductive cycle and increase the mortality rate. So waste production. Every person, we are not bothering about anybody. Simply we are purchasing wherever which is attracting our, whatever the things which are attracting our eyes, everything we will purchase. So that is our human psychology. That way, 4.3 pounds of the waste will be produced by each person per day. So much of this waste ends up as a landfill. So that just I have shown this image as a landfill. This is the major reason which is caused by the waste production. So while we are accumulating this landfill, the greenhouse gas are the emitted greenhouse gases producing the global warming. So just to see the images, dangerous thing. just bird which just swallowed the plastics garbages and which we are used. So the after the particular certain time that will got die. Those that image we have taken. This is this is the reason only the human being. So next, man-made fertilizer. Here also our selfishness. We are expecting. We need to improve our economy without bothering about the others' health and the society or anybody in the world, future world. Simply we are using the man-made fertilizer. So here what is happening? The complex food materials we are getting from these agriculture products that is producing the harmful effect to human being, and also it is making the overstimulation. Just it will reach the water bodies, no, there it will stimulate the overgrowth of alga. So whatever the sunlight it is producing, that does not reaches the underground section of the water. So there will be the marine population will be affected. So just you think about the sustainability of ecology if you are going in the same manner. So and pesticides we are using that are producing so many diseases. I no need to explain this individually. Everyone know this. Mainly the pregnant ladies and children are affecting. The fetus, those there in the mother's womb, that is suffering more. Autism, the leukemia, lymphomia, and so many more nervous system related problems also creating along with the genetic malfunction and also the cancer. And Raquel Rugis Carton, this is the person we have to know. This is the American marine biologist. First she give this is the awareness about the environment impact by the pesticide DDT. Okay, so DDT, yes, just she had made the 4 years research and she published the book called Silent Spring in Tamil Mauna Vasantham. Okay, in that book she has just mentioned the harmful effect of the pesticide DDT. So after that, her publication, the government, US government banned that DDT. So that much effect, just the bald eagle, robin, earthworm, fire ant, everything destroyed from this environment. So ecological sustainability is like this. Because of the pesticide and deforestation. While we are cutting the trees for our selfishness, automatically most of the animals and birds that will lose their habitat, and also we are losing the 80,000 acres of the tropical forest per day, and we are making to evolution of 15% of the greenhouse gases within the world. So these are the problem: pollution, deforestation. Then it will finally lead to desertification, habitat loss, and we will extinct the animals. All the animals are extincted. Whether the human being be able to live in the world? No, definitely it's not. So all these problems will be takes place. So the food chain mainly affected because of this trouble. So just to think about this grasshopper, it is depending upon the grasses, but the frog, that is the second consumer, is depending this grasshopper. While we are destroying this frog, automatically the grasshopper level will be increased, population will increase. So it will destroy all the crops. So the food chain can be preserved while we are preserving this our environment. So if you are not preserving, it will make to climate change, soil erosion, poor air quality, undrinkable water, genetic manipulation. So just we have to understand the main problem which is related to climate change. So we are facing now, just now I are started to talk about this climate change. In future, there will be a huge defect about this climate change. Okay, so before that, understand what is weather and what is climate. So weather, that means that is a short-term condition. Minute to minute we can calculate the weather. Hour to hour we can calculate the weather. Day to day we can calculate the weather. Also we can calculate, but climate is not like that. It is the average of weather for the extended period of time for the in the certain location. In the certain location, whatever the average weather in that particular extent of time is happening, no, that will be calculated as the climate. So this is the graph. Simply I have shown that the everyday changes. So everyday changes, just we can consider that is the weather. So this is yearly changes they have given. 10 hottest global years they have recorded. So that is the average. So just we can consider as the climate. How we can talk about the climate. What are the components constructing this climate? That are temperature, air pressure, wind speed and their direction, precipitation, that means rainfall, and humidity, cloud type, solar radiation. These all will be constitute the climate. Depending upon the changes on this temperature, air pressure, wind direction, and rainfall, humidity, clouds, and solar radiation only, we can say this is the climate. We can record the climate. So whether this climate changes naturally or only by the human being, it is happening. Variation will be there in the climate because it will be changes depending upon the latitude and longitude, depending upon the altitude, depending upon the distance from the sea. And if it is nearby the water bodies, there will be the good climate. And if it is living nearby the vegetation or plants, there will be the good climate. In mountainous region, geographical factors also constructing this climate. It will change to season, years to years, decades to decades. But latitude, how the latitude, not I am talking about all. So latitude is somewhat difficult to understandable. That's why just I taken that example. This is the world, Earth. This is the equator. The curved region, those are the areas which are related, the countries or the regions which are near to the equator, that is the curved regions. So that can receive the sunlight directly. So here no need to sunlight take time to travel. It is the short time. That's why that are the hottest region. But just you think about the poles, where here the temperature will be very less. So that are in frozen state because there the sunlight wants to travel for long time, long period, distance is more. So that is the polar regions are much colder as compared to the equator. And altitude is that is the distance from the sea level only, So in the we can understand for our vacations, we will go to the mountainous region for the enjoyment, for taking rest, because there will be the good temperature. Because we should understand each 300 meters, there will be the 2-degree decrease in temperatures. That's why mountainous regions feel so cold as compared to the other regions. Okay, so the climate changes. So what is this changes? Climate changes. This is the long-term alteration in the temperature or this weather pattern. Already I have told this is the average weather pattern in this climate. So the long changes, it automatically leads to the changes in the climate. So what are the reasons for this climate change? Whether it is continues from the earlier stage, no. Our ancestors not involved in that kind of the activities. Only it was developed from the mid of 18th century.
Can you complete in another 5 minutes? Helen,
yes, yes, sir.
Can you complete in another 5 minutes?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I will complete. Okay, sir.
Mr. Muthu, you can take last 10 to 13 minutes for summarizing on the panelist views and give your recommendation.
Yeah.
Last 30 minutes. Finally, I will say 1 or 2 words in the last. So everything should be over by 4 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Short.
Yeah, sure.
This after the 18th century only, these kind of the problems are created because of the industrial revolution. Because we have started to develop the large-scale process and we have started to confuse the fossil fuels, industrial and domestic usage and biomass burning and everything. Also, we are using the using the refrigerator and AC and because of that we are releasing the chlorofluorocarbon to the environment. Land usage is also changing due to the urbanization and agriculture process. So the carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, these and fluorochlorocarbons, these all are the major dangerous greenhouse gases. These are accumulated each and every day. Mostly the carbon dioxide due to the fossil fuel, it is producing 65%. By the forestry, 11%, methane 16%, nitrous oxide 6%, remaining 2%. So already I told you electricity and agriculture, improper agriculture, transportation, building, industry, and energy. These all are producing these greenhouse gases. How these greenhouse gases are producing these climate changes? Just we have to understand sunlight the solar rays which are falling on the from the sunlight is just fall on the earth. So whatever the greenhouse gases normally present in the earth atmosphere, it will be trap it. So then because of the reason only, the earth is not in the frozen condition. Just to think about the condition, if the greenhouse gases are not available, definitely our earth will be goes beyond the frozen state. The human being or any other organism cannot live in the earth. But it should be the limit. If it is going beyond the limit, it will make the dangerous effect because of our human factor. The carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons are accumulated more level. So just it will be cover the earth as a blanket. So the whatever the solar rays which are falling on the earth is not able to escape to the atmosphere due to the overproduction of greenhouse gases. So dear, those are the participants, please concentrate on these conditions. Just you think, do you want to cover the earth? Otherwise, okay. So if you are not taking the precautions, our earth will burn like this. So the climate sustainability, very important thing that should be the get appropriate wisdom, technology, and management. Everything is very important to the managing this climate sustainability. So otherwise, it will lead to melting of poles, snow melting, and permafrost. Some areas will be the permafrost. If that are melting, automatically sea level and water bodies level will be increased. Flooding in the river and lakes due to the high evaporation, droughts will be produced in the river and lakes. Coastal erosion, rise and extreme natural phenomena will be produced, and this is in the physical parameters are producing in this manner, and some due to these physical changes, due to the evolution of these greenhouse gases, flora and fauna, all the biological components, the animals, plants will be extinct. Not only the land and also from the marine system, wildlife will be migrate from because of their problems, and human beings also. Our crop production is not there means automatically we will in the comes under the famine, and death and diseases and economical livelihood will be reduced. Migrate we will become as the climatic refuge, because area wherever we are living, that area will become as the desert. So whatever will happen, we will search the other. Yes, that's why this is the major climatic refuges. We will live. If we are not preserving these climates, our younger generation, just to think, we will become as the climate refuge. Okay, this is now it is in your hand. Yesterday the earth was like this. Nowadays it is tomorrow it will completely melted. So stop global warming. You are not only helping yourself, you are helping others. So first generation, we feel the climate changes. And last generation, we can be able to take some steps to stop these climate changes. Only we, us. Okay, so we can use the create the forest, use the reusable bags, print as much very little, whatever possible. Just we can use the e-components, recycling and reusable containers. And after preparing the notes, don't throw it. If it is possible, just to give support them by giving to others. Otherwise, they also spend the papers. And save electricity, save water, and avoid taking car mostly. Through this seminar, just me and all this IEI and Kumari Arivial Peravai, along with the, forgot to say this to Kumari Arivial Peravai organizer, Mr. Belayan. Again, I want to thank him. Because of him only I got this great opportunity. Even I got so many problems, struggles to this presentation. Anyway, I got completed this successfully. I thank God. And through this seminar, just I am hand over this world in the hand of participants. The young hand should receive this world, preserve this world, prevent the greenhouse gases formation, water, and also you people are engineers. So engineers can be able to do some inventions. Whatever the invention you are doing, that just should be concentrate on the sustainable life. So you are having much knowledge than me about regarding this invention. So just about this research work. Thank you so much. Thank you for this grateful opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you for the nice speech. Actually, all the three speakers have given a lot of statistics, lot of points to think over, and they have totally explained about the grave situation where we are in there with respect to life sustainability. And most of the points must be noted and must be acted upon. That's what I feel. Actually, Vikram, started by telling about the 5 topics, subtopics of sustainable life: energy, ecology, climate, water, livelihood. And he said about water, importance, then scarcity, non-availability, and this can cause displacement of people. Children are very much affected, which is alarming. Sources, watershed, to be preserved because they are the sources of this limited water which is available, and its distribution has to be planned. Then harvesting has to be, every individual house should have harvesting, to be frank, because the rain comes occasionally and we have to retain that water. Reuse, we have to try to reuse, and the effective distribution he was talking about. Water security to all, he was telling. The 2.5% of our water available only is potable, and majority of that also is in glaciers, only 30% in land. Rest of the thing, conversion is required, and then we have to meet the requirement. Maybe from the importable water, we have to convert it and reuse it. Of course, KK district, Kanyakumari district seems to be a better place as far as water scarcity is concerned, because they are getting rain from both the monsoons. So almost 6 months rain is getting. In fact, it is all captured in very good watershed management in the district. Muthukulli Vayal he was talking about. Then water path, how it goes from river to the sea, etc. Then water getting recharged because of the heavy water available. Then Kanyakumari district has got many dams, 3 rivers. One of them, main river, is the Tamarabarani. He was telling about distribution, natural channels and man-made channels, because the kings of those time, Travancore kings, have made a lot of man-made channels to crisscross the district. Then harvesting, then conservation, limit water-wise. He said the water, usage you have to limit, and the charge habits we have to inculcate. New technologies have to be found how we can generate water or use water in a better way. Old houses, he said, there was rainwater saved from roof and recharged and to ground. Ponds in the middle of the field, he suggested, so that each big field will have its own water resource. Energy sustainability, these are the points he made about water sustainability. About energy sustainability, he said better change in 2010 onwards. Many people live without electricity. 7.59 million people are living without electricity. That is an alarming figure. Energy availability, he was questioning. Impact on environment, because whatever energy we are producing now, it has a huge impact on environment. Coal, CO2 emission, increasing, destruction of environment. Fossil fuels is another area where environment get destroyed. Energy supplied now is oil, coal, natural gas, solar, wind, etc. Users, residential energy users, residential, agriculture, wind farms. We have to focus on renewable energy. High implementation cost, that is the point which we are not able to implement, but then we have to overcome with the technological challenges and technology developments. That's what he said. Then, Dr. Danya, that was a nice speech from Vikram. Then Dr. Danya, it was she gave a lot of statistics. To be frank, I think she has made elaborate studies on this particular area. Livelihood sustainability she was talking about. 17 development goals UN has recommended, and for sustainable livelihood. And she said, US Environment Group, she gave a quote: humans and nature should harness each other for sustainable goals. Life is a constant struggle. Livelihood, gaining resources needed for livelihood. Focus on political stability, education, etc. Different versions of livelihood. It is a multi-dimension concept. Various development things she was addressing. Then about livelihood basis production-based, labor-based, transfer-based, market-based, etc. She explained. Then livelihood issues, poverty, malnutrition, diseases, infant mortality, 1.45 million children per year in India dying, it is alarming. And illiteracy, unemployment, homelessness, etc. She was explaining. Causes, she was pointing out the causes for these livelihood issues, loss of income, family size, like that. She pointed out many areas. Then the need for sustainable livelihood, she was pointing out. Approach for sustainable life, real cause, we have to analyze. Method of change, we have to finalize. Then based on this, we have to improve various areas, she was telling. 5 assets that influence livelihood: human capital, social capital, natural capital, physical capital, financial capital, she was mentioning. Then core topics towards state of livelihood, she was pointing out various things, and around some 10, 12 points she mentioned. Then she also was pointing out the various efforts Indian government has taken to nullify this particular this thing and then improve the livelihood. Then she mentioned in this particular area a lot of statistics and steps taken by government. And she was talking about factors to be considered towards sustainable livelihood. Gap between trained and placed, she was telling, even though many people are trained, placed was very less. So this has to be improved. 11 points she mentioned on that particular area. Increase in participation of labor force and prices, increase in income per farmer, for farmers. Insurance and risk management is one of the areas which has been addressed, and farmers should be protected because they are the people who are actually this livelihood, sustainable livelihood, they are an important part of the total effort. Tamil Nadu and Kerala and Himachal Pradesh achieved the index, she mentioned. Then government schemes, she mentioned various government schemes which are effectively making the farmers to get what they have to get. Hand in hand NGO, she was mentioned, 16 states in India, 8.3 million employment has been generated by this NGO. NGO government partnerships, NGO as a one unit and government, unless both hands in hands they work, it is very difficult to achieve this target. Usha Mukti, its effort in West Bengal, she was mentioning. Then creating sustainable life, 8 areas she mentioned. Helen Stonia, actually, she was talking about ecological and climate sustainability. Ecological, she was telling about environment, atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, then atmosphere itself, troposphere, stratosphere, etc. Then biosphere is the maximum, troposphere is the maximum damage humans are catching. The impact of this thing and the damage created is only by human beings. There is nothing, no other creature on the earth is taking part in this particular damage, this thing. Food chain, she was talking about climate change, then greenhouse damage, deforestation, CO2, methane, etc. And 24% contributed by vehicles and fossil fuels. Reduce use of natural resources. That is one way of maintaining the environment ecological status. Awareness towards environment must be developed. He was pointing out about this particular webinar also. Attitudes which are has to change. Biotic and abiotic about environment he was talking about. What is ecology? She defined relationship, ecosphere, ecology, living organism, and the earth, etc. She was telling how to make it sustainable and about human beings, our selfishness, profit, etc. She was talking about. Transportation, 26% it contributes, destroying the planet. One main area which is destroying the planet. Water pollution, 2 million tons of waste enter into water bodies, marine life, and 4.3 pounds of waste per person per day. Greenhouse gases polluting environment, plastic damaging the ocean and other areas. Then man-made fertilizers, how it affects sunlight not reaching the aquatic life, etc. She mentioned. Then how lactating mothers and pregnant mothers, how they are affected. Then genetic malfunction is happening due to man-made fertilizers. She was mentioning about work done by Rachel Lewis Cannon and Silent Songs, a book she has written. Deforestation, the people lose the habitat, animals lose the habitat, and she gave some statistics, food chain affected, etc. She was mentioning. Difference between weather and climate, she explained. Then components of climate, about the factors which affect climatic variation, she mentioned. Then industrial revolution, how it has changed the thinking of people and how it enabled the destruction of the planet, she was mentioning. I think all the three talks were excellent and very well prepared, actually. And to be frank, you need not refer any other book or anything like that, because it is a consolidation of all the points, all the statistics. So possibly our Institute of Engineers plus KIP, it will be very useful as a reference, this thing. My recommendations, if it comes to that, water sustainability is the most important, I consider, out of the 5, because every day we require water. All other things we can at least wait for a month, but water we cannot wait even a minute. So it has to be addressed on a full scale, how water can be preserved, how water can be regenerated, how water can be reused, how we can minimize the water, how we can use rainwater in a better way and recharge the ground as we as our older generation did. Every house, I feel, should have a water, this thing, recycling, so that it must be recycled. Actually, during the earlier regime, it was pointed out and it was made as a important requirement in Tamil Nadu. But now, it is slightly watered down. It has to be again taken up. Then climate sustainability, it is an area where effort from society is required. No single individual can do anything on that. So unless society changes their viewpoints and come up with a better discipline, it is difficult to get a good climate sustainability. The damage will continue if we don't change ourselves. I wanted to mention that I read somewhere by 2050, world can or may become uninhabitable if we go at this rate. So various climatic conferences are addressing, they are giving goals to each country, how much they are having targets, etc., budget, CO2 budget, etc. But whether the countries will follow that and then come up, only time can tell. So the situation is very grave. Then people are talking about transport to Mars, because in case Earth becomes unlivable, then we may have to find another area. So the transport to Mars is being, ascended, so that some people can go to Mars and live there. So energy, alternate energy sources must be, we have to go from fossil fuel. Actually, we have to go on cutting down fossil fuel usage and go on increasing the reusable energy. So I think India is making a big effort on solar this thing, and they have given certain commitments that we will go for this much solar energy production within this time. I think India will do a very good job, but I don't know about other countries. So they also should concentrate and slowly reduce fossil usage, because one is fossil usage is damaging the environment, another fossil usage availability is limited. It won't survive for many more years. So both the ways we have to go for that. Energy, then ecology, waste reduction is the main thing on ecology. Waste is the thing which is creating havoc on ecology. So how we can reduce the waste, recycle the waste, and reuse the waste. These 3 areas have to be addressed, and then we have to come up with various plans. Possibly Indian Institute of Engineers, full of engineers available in Indian Institute. I think we should come up with certain plans to how we can do these things. Livelihood, I think livelihood can be improved by increasing the literacy aspect of our population. Still, there are many people who are illiterate. So once they are literate, they become more improved, and they may not damage the livelihood. And they will at least understand that we are damaging the livelihood, and we will get a much better disciplined society. And another thing, government's effort on this thing, improving the farmers, their welfare, I think it is a very commendable type of policy. But my thinking is that the farmers or anybody should not continue to depend on loans, doles, etc. We should self-generate, and we should be self-sufficient. And then only, India can become a fully developed country. I think these are my recommendations as far as I went to this particular webinar. It has been a very useful webinar, very, with a lot of points stressed upon. I think this must be, I think it's being recorded. I hope that better solutions will come in future. Thank you for giving this opportunity for me to summarize. Thank
Very
you
good,
very
sir.
much. Stop here.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Muthu, very thank you for nice moderation of the three speakers. What I will say is Muthu's recommendation and each panelist recommendation in a nutshell form. If we put it in a small mini document, it will be a good service. And I will request both all the three panelists, you add do's and don'ts to sustain the environment in terms of either livelihood or water scarcity or energy or thing, which are the do's and don'ts, which is useful, which is applicable for the common man. And the one page, if you make it, it will be in your recommendation, it will be better. Now I leave it to our honorary secretary, Dr. Uday Kumar, to give vote of thanks. We have a next session, it is coming shortly. Thank you very much for the speakers.
Thank you, sir. Sir, is it audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Very happy evening to all. It gives me an immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks for our today's IEI technical webinar on sustainable life, organized by the Institution of Engineers India, Madurai Local Center, under the aegis of Interdisciplinary Coordination Committee. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. H.O. Thakare, President IEI, for giving approval to conduct this IEI technical webinar, even a short span, and also providing all support for the successful conduct of this webinar today. I would like to thank our most honorable chairman, Dr. N. Sivasubramanian, who has taken a great initiative, sending a proposal to headquarters, connecting with moderator and all panelists for conducting this webinar successfully. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt and sincere thanks to Kumari Arivial Peravai Young Scientist 2021 organizer, Mulancheri M. Velayan, a moderator of our today's IEI technical webinar, Engineer L. Muthu, former Deputy Director, ISRO, our panelist members, Engineer Vivi Vikram, Deputy General Manager, Cylinder Electric India Private Limited, Coimbatore, who presented on the topic of water and energy sustainability, Dr. R.P. Danya, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Microbiology, Nurul Islam College of Arts and Science, Kumarakoil, who presented on the topic of livelihood sustainability, and Dr. A. Helen Sonia, HOD and Vice Principal, Department of Paramedics, S.A. Raja Pharmacy College, Vadakkankulam, Tirunelveli, who presented on the topic of ecological and climate sustainability for the successful conduct of our today's webinar. So all the panelist members are providing statistical data and also share elaborate series studies on their respective topics. Also, our moderator has nicely consolidated all the panelist members, and they also provide a very good recommendation for this today technical webinar. Thanks to all. Thanks to ma'am, sirs and madams. Then I would like to thank Mr. Niranjan Gupta, Technical Director, and Mr. King Sanksan, Assistant Director Technical, the Institution of Engineers India headquarters, for providing technical guidance and support for the smooth conduct of this today's webinar. Also, I would like to thank the Institution of Engineers India, Madurai Local Center, past chairmen, immediate past chairman, past honorary secretaries, immediate past honorary secretaries, executive committee members, corporate members, student members, and also our office staff for their keen and continuous moral support for conducting this webinar successfully. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants. Hope more than 90 participants are attending this webinar and making this program as a grand success. Thank you once again to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope we will be joining for another students' presentation by 4:30 in a separate conference. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. With kind permission from chair, sir, now we are concluding the webinar session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very much
Yes,
for
sir.
your kind support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.